This is the wax node monitor. The problem we were trying to solve is that, I mean, everybody knows that the block producer nodes are out there and signing. And of course, if they go down, you miss blocks, alerts go off. But there's two pieces to the chain. One's the signing of the blocks. The other is the actual node infrastructure to be able for dApps and wallets and everything to be able to use the chain, submit transactions, pull up information about the chain of those transactions. And across all the EOSIO ecosystems, I mean, it's kind of an issue finding good, reliable nodes. You kind of, know your teams that tend to do it and hope for the best. There are some services that are trying to, offer some load balancing and things like that, but not a lot out there. And nobody's really checking all the nodes, finding all the nodes, checking all the nodes, and then even keeping all the historical information about those nodes. The nation validator tool does a great job of going out and polling and checking a lot of in-depth things and telling you if it's working or not. But you don't really know, well, has it been up for a month straight, or does it go down every other day? Things like that.
How do you do that? How do you test the speed?
So now you understand what the problem was. Is how do we identify what would be the best nodes for somebody to use, depending on what they needed to use them for. Does that make sense?
Right. And for example, you said if I'm in the USA, it would be better for me to use nodes that are close to me in proximity. That makes sense.
Correct.
Versus going all the way across the world to Australia. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense to me.
And that's when you can see it, and you can also quantify it and research it and figure out what you want, and then maybe even eventually down the road, some of the features maybe to feed some of that information out automatically. There might be reasons why developers, wallets, even end users would like to be able to know geographically based off of where I'm at, or even just globally if it's all around the world, what are the fastest endpoints? Because we're not always running. Yeah, we run bare metal here in the USA because it's us and what we do, but not everybody's in the actual country you would think that they're at. So
right.
it's not, you can't just use a name and a region as an assumption. Where is that actual node, and okay, how fast can I talk to it? Because it's very interesting. There are regions of the world that it's a lot more difficult to get ones and zeros in and out of. What we decided to do is, we're not a heavy dev shop, so look to partner with a great dev crew and work with the BOID team on a lot of different projects on a lot of chains. And
love the BOID team. Yes.
Yeah, got some really cool products that they and projects that they work with. But got to chatting about it, and as dApp developers, they've noticed the same issue, and fought that battle. So we came up with the ideas. Okay, what can we do to collect that information and then obviously display it in a useful, helpful manner? So the idea ultimately was, and if you kind of look at the map here, you'll get a visualization of what I'm describing. So the first thing we did is we all around the world, and it's all these red dots. These are the probes that you see, the red dots on the map. We created, little small, we call them probes, little test machines that every so often go out and talk to all of the nodes on the Wax network and run a few tests, check, see how it responds, and then phone all that information back home to a centralized server to where this wax.stats site runs and displays the information and slices and dices it and trends it historically, however it would be useful to you. So does that kind of make sense that, all right, how does the network look for everybody around the world? Let's create little computers all around the world and see.
Yeah. So the probe is what is doing the research.
Yep. So every roughly 5 minutes,
and you've got the probe set up all over the world, I see, which is pretty cool, so that they can get a really accurate reading on proximity. Is that why?
Correct. So obviously, I mean, you can see from here, the nodes are pretty heavily centralized around, US or North America and Europe.
Can you zoom in on the US there?
I can. Let me. So you'll notice, I mean, they're all kind of scattered
Cool.
around, and then Europe's even more tightly packed. I mean, Germany's data centers tend to
And these
be.
are all of the wax nodes right now.
Yep. So ultimately, what you'll notice here is that if I mouse over them, there's the blocks crafters node. There's the XPO node. I think this is blocks. Oh, Malta and Gray Mass are over here.
Okay.
Um, so anyway, we're underneath this probe too, because obviously we're running one of the probes here.
Understood.
um, so ultimately, each one of these red dots every 5 minutes runs a job that kind of goes out, and first it collects a list of all of the nodes that are registered with the network. Each of the VPs registers their information in that JSON file. Uh, we go out and read all those. We pull all the nodes out of them. Try to clean up what we can, duplicates, things like that, and then systematically every 5 minutes run through a select set of them. Every so often, and collect
Yeah.
stats. So, it's not running
Wow.
every minute and just pounding the snot out of everything, but it's trying to get a pretty good bearing on, a couple times an hour, are you there and how are you responding? So,
Sure. Yeah.
so
So,
that's,
and it,
okay.
it was anytime a new wax node were to pop up, a new wax guild, that we would immediately see that then.
Yeah, so whenever the next poll job runs, it would look and see that there's a new producer that has been registered. It would then go and chase down their registration information, populate that into the list, and then start pinging it and checking to see what it has.
Oh, Michael, this is cool.
And it's pretty cool, huh? Wait till you see all the bells and whistles.